Good morning everybody, my name is Crystal and welcome to my YouTube channel. I hope everybody is having a great weekend so far. It's Sunday. I've managed to get up this morning. I've managed to get up this morning. Still got a bit of a headache from last night. Last night was a bit upsetting when I went outside, but hey ho, it's the luck of the draw. Whenever I go outside I don't know what to expect. Just took it in my stride, come home and carried on as normal. Unless something is done to you, the police aren't going to do anything anyway, and done to me I mean physically harm me. I've been threatened inside the building. I have been sworn at. I have been in a shop, unable to shop in the shop because I've been harassed by young men. I called the police. They didn't bother doing anything, nothing at all. They don't even come out anymore. They don't. I see the police more in the co-op eating and community support services officers going in there for the breakfast than they do to come and help me. And this is all around the board now. They don't come out for theft or anything. No. What has happened to the Great British Police I don't know, but there you go. You used to see a copper on the streets every day years ago. Now you don't hardly see any, unless it's to a really serious crime like a stabbing, or you know, when it's almost too late and the damage has been done. It's terrible. The royal family are protected by armed guards, but the public are open to attack, aren't they? Every time I pick up my phone in the morning, someone's been stabbed, some murders happen, some horrible incident, crime, and it makes you frightened to go outside. But I do still go outside. I hold my head up high, and you know, all you can do is call 999 if it gets serious. That's all you can do. Or set off alarms and protect yourself, really. So, because people aren't taking any notice of anything, they're not, they're just doing what they like. This is because this is how the country is at the moment. It's mob rule. People are doing what they like. Old people, women, vulnerable people are frightened to go outside even during the daylight. It's the truth. It's worse when the school holidays are off, because you've got gangs of kids wandering around terrorising people everywhere. So I've got up, I've made myself a lovely cup of herbal tea. I'm going to start the day as I mean to go on, and it's like filming in a war zone. A war zone. Great Britain is broken. There's no policing, there's no security, and people are doing the fuck what they like, right? In this building, the wall downstairs has been battered, and I live in this block of flats, and there's holes in the walls where it looks like someone has bashed the wall downstairs. With security cameras in the building, you think people would stop it, but they don't. Are they real security cameras? Are they dummy cameras? I mean, what are they there for? If, when you suffer a crime, no one uses it as evidence, what are they useful for? Nothing. People, when there's a crime, the police say, oh, is there cameras in the building? Is there any evidence? Yes. But they don't come out and look at it. Neither does the housing. Can't be bothered. So guys, it's Sunday. I'm not going anywhere today. It's their school holidays. It's bad enough walking down the street when the kids are at school, because there's always some kids on the streets, older kids. So when the kids are off school, it's worse. They're everywhere and they're walking around on their own. So today I'm just staying at home and keeping safe. And that's all I can do. They don't care if you're a woman. They'll attack you if you're a woman. I mean, I've seen many male auditors that go around with cameras auditing the police and auditing buildings, and they get verbally abused and pushed about and attacked, men. But you know, I'm a woman, and I'm being verbally abused outside for no reason, even when I haven't got my camera on. Oh, it's ridiculous. So let's do the Alexa bit. Alexa, good morning.
Good morning. On this day in 1997, Tiger Woods became the youngest golfer to win the Masters tournament and set a new score record. Not bad for a guy who'd been a pro for less than a year.
Alexa, what's the time, please?
Good morning, Crystal. It's 8:30 a.m.
Alexa, what's the date today? Alexa, the date?
It's Sunday the 13th of April.
13th of April today. Alexa, what is the weather outlook? Alexa, the weather.
In Rochester, it's 13 degrees Celsius with clear skies and sun. Today, you can expect lots of clouds, with a high of 17 degrees and a low of 6 degrees.
There must be a high pollen count because my eyes are stinging. They really are stinging. Alexa, what's the pollen count?
Today, expect high levels of tree pollen. Levels of grass and ragweed pollen will be low.
Yeah, it's high. Tree pollen is high. Got a tree outside my place. Alexa, can you tell me a joke? Alexa, can you tell me a joke?
Knock knock. Who's there? Noah. Noah who? No. I'm sorry. I've got the wrong address.
Alexa, who was born on this day?
Celebrities born on the 13th of April include Thomas Jefferson, Brigitte Macron, Christopher Hitchens, Garry Kasparov, and Samuel Beckett.
Right, I'm going to do a puzzle in a moment. I'm just going to go through what happened yesterday again, and I don't expect it to happen again. Otherwise I'm going to have to call the police, and I don't want to. So I went out and somebody coughed in the opposite flats. Coughed. You know, it's done to stir up trouble. And I thought, right, you know, I was wary. In the back of my mind I was wary. Went onto the fields, and there was older kids sat on a bench. Boring! They shouted. And no, it was a really loud shout. So it's meant for me to hear, right? So I said, fuck off, under my breath. I just want to be left alone. Leave me alone. Just leave me alone. So I carried on walking, and I heard one of them say, do something. No. Carried on walking. Then I walked right round with Max, and they were hovering about where I was walking up at the top. One was on a bicycle. You know, you've got to be careful they don't steal your phone. They were talking to each other and whatever, and I just kept out the way, and they stood on the steps. And I thought, yeah, you're going to end up falling off there. Do you know what I mean? None of my business. Walked down the path, and you know, this coughing they're like, is it a code? Is it some sort of code? Witch's code? They cough to each other. It's like they're signalling I'm coming to each other. Because that's what happened when that incident next door to me where they were swearing. He was stood upstairs on the balcony coughing. And they, you know, they came out and said, that's her, that's her. It's like they signal to each other that I'm coming outside or something. So I saw a car like my dad's old car parked in an odd way, and I thought, you're fucking crazy, you're all mad. You're absolutely loonies. Leave me alone. Like some piece of meat they play with, I swear. Gang stalking me, watching me. My dad used to cough. He used to cough at Victoria Road in his bedroom. He had COPD. He had breathing difficulty. He fucking smoked for years and he couldn't he was always coughing in the morning, getting the catarrh up and the fucking cigarette stuff out of his throat. I don't smoke. He couldn't get up without a cigarette in the morning. He smoked about 60 a day before he had his heart attack and stopped doing it. And then he still drank. He drank fucking brandy right up to his death. He drank fucking cups of brandy. Brandy. 20, 30 bottles of brandy. 20, 30 pounds worth of brandy. He's an alcoholic and a heavy smoker. He was lucky he lived to the age he lived at, the amount of drink he went through and the smoking. But I never knew my dad took drugs. I never saw him smoke a weed joints or take drugs. He smoked and he drank, but you know, the weed and the shit, he never done any of that. To my knowledge. Alexa, puzzler. Hello, Max.
Welcome back to Puzzler. Would you like to play your daily crossword or hear the high scores?
Daily crossword.
Let's get into your quick crossword of the day.
Missing. It's a 4-letter word.
Alexa, L-O-S-T, lost.
Missing. It's a
Alexa.
4-letter word. If you need more
Alexa.
time, just say, more time.
She's got stuck. Alexa, lost.
Great.
Pass the tongue over. Something. First letter. L. 4 letters.
Alexa, next clue.
Okay, we'll skip this clue.
Nearly vertical. Cliff face. First letter. S. There's 5 letters.
Alexa, next clue.
Okay, we'll skip this clue.
Large group of soldiers. 4 letters.
Army. Alexa, army.
Large group of soldiers.
Alexa,
4 letters.
Alexa, Alexa, army.
Great stuff.
Make a sound like a donkey. Last letter. Y. 4-letter
Alexa,
word.
Bray. Bray.
The clue is, make a
Alexa.
sound like a donkey.
Oh, this is
Last
annoying
letter.
me this morning.
Why?
Absolutely annoying
4-letter
me.
word.
Try again,
Alexa.
or say skip to try another clue.
Keep yapping. Alexa. Bray. See, it's right.
Great stuff. You've completed half of the crossword.
Obvious. Plain. Last letter.
Obvious.
5 letters.
Alexa, clue.
Here's a clue.
blank, L, blank blank, R.
Alexa, next clue.
Okay, we'll skip this clue.
Nearly vertical, cliff face. S,
Oh, I can't
blank
think
blank
of
blank,
it.
R. It has 5 letters.
Alexa, clue. Alexa, clue.
Nearly vertical, cliff face.
Alexa,
Blank blank blank,
Alexa, clue. Oh God, this is...
nearly vertical, cliff face.
Alright, Alexa,
S,
next clue.
Okay, we'll skip this clue.
obvious, plain, blank, L,
Alexa,
blank blank, R. There are
Alexa,
5 letters.
Alexa, clear.
Let's hear the next clue.
Pass the tongue over, something,
Pass the what
L.
over?
blank, C, blank. It has 4 letters.
I can't hear what she said. Pass the what over? Pass the tongue over. Oh, Alexa, lick. God.
Incredible. Here's the final clue.
Nearly vertical, cliff face. S, blank, E,
Alexa,
blank.
clue.
Okay, here's a hint.
S, blank, E, E, R.
Alexa, shear. That was a hard one, that.
Congratulations. You've completed this puzzle.
That's a
You did
hard
it in 4
one.
minutes, 10 seconds. This was your 97th fastest time for daily crosswords.
Main menu. Would you like to hear the high scores, open shop, or exit game?
Exit game.
Goodbye.
Check out the highest rated voice games. Just say Open Yak Yak Games.
The one that I had trouble with was like, it's sheer face, isn't it? Sheer. Steep. Sheer. Sheer face. I should have known that. I was having trouble with that clue. Alexa, LBC Radio.
LBC London from Global Player.
Unlock exclusive features and content from LBC and even join the conversation. Send a comment to LBC. Just say, ask Global Player to link my account.
Future of Scunthorpe, but they were certainly right to step in the way they did.
Do you despair at how, since your time as business secretary under Gordon Brown, I believe, I mean, has that, how the sort of steelmaking in the UK has, I say changed, been decimated largely?
Well, it's been on a 40-year decline. If you look at the high point of steel manufacture in the 70s, we're producing a fraction of that now, and there's a long, long list of steel towns that have shut down. And I think, with hindsight, we can see that to be a huge mistake. But I think fundamentally, Henry, we've got to address one elephant in the room here, which is the very high cost of energy, which is driving not just steel industries in the UK to the point of collapse, but many others as well. So I think the government's got a big piece of work to do to address the underlying problem here, which is the high cost of energy is far, far higher in the UK than anywhere else in Europe. And yet we've got abundant supplies of cheap renewable energy in the North Sea, the Irish Sea, and hopefully in the Celtic Sea. So we've really got to look at this as a big issue of industrial policy and strategy. And the government's got to really act quickly if it's going to give Scunthorpe and steelmaking in the UK a long-term prospect for success.
Another elephant in the room, of course, are the tariffs that are coming in on steel products from Donald Trump, or have come in, I should say, at 25%. He very much is advocating this idea of America first. With Keir Starmer intervening here in the government, do you sense that our own government is pursuing a sort of economic nativism strategy?
Well, I hope we don't go down the same rabbit hole that President Trump.
In terms of the sort of key industries?
Well, I think one thing, Henry, I absolutely do accept is that the global economic order is changing now. And I think the high watermark of globalization we've probably passed. And so we've all now got to think about how are we going to react and what policy instruments we're going to use in this new era. And tariffs clearly have a role to play. But I mean, I think we've got to be very strategic in the way that we deploy tariffs, I think, and make sure we use them to secure UK national vital interests, but not as a blunderbuss, not as an attempt to rewrite history and blame everyone else for the economic ills that we may or may not be facing. And I think that's the danger of President Trump's approach. It is an attempt to lay blame and rewrite history, and I don't think that's what you should use tariffs to do.
Keir Starmer has been accused, certainly when he ran for leader, of promising to take public ownership of companies, and has been criticised for not doing so. But you look at British Steel, you look at the planned nationalisation of the railways, you look at the introduction of Great British Energy. Do you think we are starting to see a shift here? Do you imagine we'll see other industries potentially nationalised, like water, for example?
I don't think, Henry, there's a fundamental shift. I think these are more sort of tactical moves. I don't think Great British Energy really is the beginning of the nationalisation of the energy system in the UK. It's got a very distinct and bespoke role to promote investment in renewables and other key technologies. So no, I don't think this is the beginning of a new era of nationalisation. I certainly hope it isn't. But I just think in the current economic climate, we just got to act strategically. We've got to think about our national interests. And the future of steel is not just an economic issue, it is a national security issue. So I think the government are fully justified in taking the steps they've done.
I referenced right at the start, you also served as a Defence Secretary, and frequently hear you on LBC discussing such matters. Could I get your reaction to the front page of the Sunday Times this morning that the Royal Navy is now on alert to escort fuel in the steel crisis? The military may be mobilised, so say government sources, in order to get the raw materials to the plant effectively. I mean, are you surprised by that? Do you think that was always on the cards?
I'm slightly surprised by that because I don't think there'll be any fundamental problem getting supplies of raw materials into Scunthorpe. It's a purely sort of commercial matter. I don't think anyone's going to intercept the cargo or sink the ship, so I don't see that's happening. And I think the coking coal for Scunthorpe was already at Immingham. So it's just a question of getting it from Immingham to Scunthorpe, and I don't think we'll need the army to do that.
I imagine they were on alert because when Jinye were sort of threatening to withhold some of those raw materials. Just lastly, Lord Hutton, when we have a conversation about not only steel but the sort of Labour government so far, people do point to the living wage that has gone up, minimum wage, the national insurance increase in terms of contributions for employers. I mean, do you think this government is at risk of being sort of business averse? Do you think they're at risk of actually punishing working people indirectly?
No, I Henry, don't really detect that in the weeds. I think the Labour government has shown itself really committed to growing manufacturing industry, for example, with the industrial policy. I mean, I think the national insurance tax increase was very unhelpful for manufacturers, in particular for all companies. And I think that's something I hope at some point the government will be able to revisit, because that's certainly not helping with economic growth. You can't put a tax on jobs and expect not to have some sort of impact. But I think they're trying to juggle some really pretty horrendously difficult things. Public finances are wrecked. I think we could all see that. We could see that from a million miles away. And they had to act to restore credibility to public finances. But in doing so, they have put an extra tax on jobs. And as I said earlier, Henry, I think that's really unhelpful.
Thank you very much. Always good to speak with you. Lord Hutton is a Labour peer, former Business Secretary and also a former Defence Secretary. By the way, the Business Secretary, current, Jonathan Reynolds, has been speaking with Lewis Goodall and has said that nationalisation is the most likely option. You can hear the full interview with Lewis Goodall this morning from 10 o'clock. Also coming up, we will give you the very latest on your personal finance news, plus discussing Birmingham, how on earth those bin strikes have been allowed to continue after over a month, and also continue to take your views on the attack that took place at HMP Franklin. You're listening to Henry Riley here on LBC. 8:47 the time. The news is with Amelia Cox.
2 prison guards remain in hospital but have been stabilised following an alleged attack by Hasham Abedi. The government has begun using emergency powers to direct British Steel following yesterday's recall sitting, and emergency services are continuing to investigate what caused an explosion at a house in Nottinghamshire last night. LBC weather, a cooler and breezier day, scattered showers and sunny spells, further outbreaks of rain moving into Northern Ireland and Western Scotland later, a high of 17 degrees.
LBC Travel, I'm Joanne Webb. Very busy on the M3 northbound up to junction 3 at Lightwater. It's because a car's broken down, so one lane is closed. Or just off the M25 at junction 28, the A12 is closed northbound, and that's for weekend works. Also just off the M25 at junction 10, the A3 is closed both ways down to Paynes Hill. Waterloo Bridge is closed both ways, and the A40 is closed again this weekend westbound from the Marylebone flyover to the Northern roundabout. On the underground, there are still severe delays on the Central line and minor delays as well on the Bakerloo. And southeastern trains are going to and from Charing Cross, Waterloo East and Cannon Street today for engineering works.
LBC.
Oh, that's Steve. His 4-year-old just tried to hug a crab. And Amir with a video.
Right guys, Sunday. I'm going to go now. I'll see you later.